So we've all heard tons of rumors, I'm sure, information, and it's hard to sort out what's true and what is not true. And so we're going to try to take all these myths, all these questions, and create a video series to quickly answer the questions for you. Today we're going to start on efficacy. This is a really picky word explanation, but I want to point out that efficacy is the performance of this vaccine under ideal or controlled circumstances, like in a clinical trial. Effectiveness is how this vaccine performs in the real world conditions. So right now we just have efficacy data. This is an overview of vaccine trial design. The studies that we're looking at are phase 3 clinical trials, which focus primarily on safety and efficacy. Participants enroll in the trial and are randomized to either half of them will receive the vaccine and half receive a saline injection. For both the Pfizer and Moderna study, participants received 2 injections, either 2 vaccines or 2 placebos, 3 to 4 weeks apart. And then for 7 days following each injection, they report symptoms back to the study team. Then for the duration of the study, they report any COVID symptoms. So let's look at the data from the Pfizer trial. So far, they have enrolled over 43,000 participants, and approximately half were randomized to receive the vaccine, and approximately half received the placebo. And what we keep hearing is that it has a 95% efficacy. So what does that mean? What people mistakenly think this means is that 95% of vaccinated people don't get COVID. In the study, that would mean looking at the vaccine group, 95% of those didn't get COVID, leaving over 1,000 vaccinated patients getting COVID. Is this true? No. In the study, only 8 vaccinated patients got COVID. What this means is if you get the vaccine, you decrease your relative risk of getting COVID by 95%. On the graph, the red slope are the patients who had the placebo, and as time moves on, they're increasing incidence of COVID, whereas the flatter line is the vaccine group. Immunity is the ability to resist a pathogen. So on an individual level, if you have no immunity to something and come in contact with that pathogen, you possibly could get sick. If you have immunity to that pathogen, either because you had a natural infection and recovered from that, or you were vaccinated against it, then when you come in contact with the pathogen, you're less likely to get sick. Herd immunity is when we zoom out and we look at immunity at a population level rather than an individual level. So on this image, the individuals in green have immunity either because they had COVID-19 and recovered, or they were vaccinated against it. Herd immunity is the idea that the person in the middle might not have immunity to a pathogen, but the more people in their herd or community that do have immunity, the less likely they are to get the pathogen and get sick. To see how this makes sense, let's look at this image of a population or community. In this image, the red person is infected with a pathogen, and the blue people have no immunity, so they're susceptible to that pathogen. The red person exposes the disease to several others who then become infected. In this image, the people who become infected turn red, and the original infected person becomes immune once they recover, which is depicted by yellow. You can see in a population that started all blue or all susceptible and not immune, how fast this disease spreads. Let's compare this to a community where you have lots of immune people, either because they've recovered from the disease and built a good adaptive immune response, or because they were vaccinated. Remember, these immune people are yellow in the image. When a red infected individual enters a population with many immune people, there are fewer avenues for the pathogen to spread. When enough people in a population become immune so that the rest of the people become protected by proxy, the group has achieved herd immunity. This is really important for individual people in the population whose immune systems are too fragile to develop immunity from acquired infection or through vaccination. The last efficacy question we've received is, are these vaccines protective against these mutant variants of COVID-19 that we've seen in South Africa, the UK, and now multiple cases in the United States? Pfizer actually had created a bunch of variants of the COVID-19 virus, and all of them were neutralized with vaccinated participants' serum. So this is great news. They didn't have the exact variant, but they tested lots of variants. Additionally, Pfizer did an interesting study in mice where they let the coronavirus pass through several times, letting natural selection occur, and a variation of COVID was developed that the vaccinated mice were protected against, and it actually is the same variant as the one found in South Africa. Moderna also states that their vaccine expresses the full spike protein, which consists of over 1,200 amino acids. So they don't expect that their vaccine to have any issue with these variants where maybe there's 8 amino acid changes, but they are currently conducting trials to verify this.